Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going deep, diving into the world of fasting.
Ooh, fasting.
It's been a hot topic. And, you guys sent in this article, Does Fasting Really Work?
Right.
And it's got me thinking, this ancient practice is having a major comeback.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to unpack it all.
It's interesting, how fasting has been around for so long. It's not just like a fad diet or something.
Right, exactly.
It's in so many different cultures.
That's off history and religions.
Yeah, and you think about major religions, Christianity, Islam, Judaism.
Yeah.
They all have this element of fasting.
Yeah.
The article even mentions Jesus fasting for 40 days in the desert.
Wow, that's a long time.
That's like a powerful image,
Yeah.
So I'm really curious, from a religious standpoint, what does fasting actually mean?
Well, in many religions, it's about deepening your spiritual connection.
Wow.
It's about self-discipline,
Right.
humility
Mhm.
before a higher power. So it's
Sure.
more than just not eating.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about the food.
Right.
It's about shifting your focus inward,
Mm.
creating space for spiritual growth.
It's like you're making room for something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got this ancient practice, deep spiritual roots. But what's really fascinating to me is that modern science
Mhm.
is finding all these physical benefits to fasting too. It's
Yeah.
almost like,
Catching up.
catching up to ancient wisdom.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. There's studies showing fasting can really help with your insulin
Okay.
regulation, which
Yeah.
is so important for, healthy blood sugar
Right, of course.
and preventing things like type 2 diabetes.
And when you fast, your body
Yeah.
becomes more sensitive to the insulin, right? So
Exactly.
it can actually use the glucose more effectively.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
That's key.
So, and that better insulin sensitivity can also, I'm assuming, lead to weight loss
Yes, absolutely.
because your body's not constantly being flooded with insulin, so it can actually tap into those fat stores.
Exactly, yeah. So by regulating that insulin,
Yeah.
your body shifts from burning sugar as fuel
Okay.
to burning fat. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that helps with weight management, but also just the overall metabolic function.
Oh, wow.
It's a win-win.
Okay, so the article also mentioned this thing called autophagy,
Autophagy.
which sounds kind of intense.
Yes.
Can you explain that a little bit?
So it's basically your body's way of cleaning house
Okay.
on a cellular level.
Okay.
So when you fast, your cells
Yeah.
start to break down and recycle old or damaged parts,
Interesting.
which improves, cellular function and overall health.
It's like hitting the reset button.
Yes, exactly.
Like a detox
Wow.
from the inside out.
So I'm wondering, could this also help with age-related diseases?
There's definitely some growing evidence for that.
Okay. Studies are showing it may help protect against things like Alzheimer's
Wow.
by removing toxic proteins that build up in the brain.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And it's not just the brain.
Right.
Autophagy. It helps keep all sorts of organs and systems healthy.
So fasting could actually help us live longer, healthier lives.
Potentially, yes.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
But I think it's important to clarify we're not talking about starving ourselves.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. It's crucial to approach this safely,
Yeah.
responsibly.
Talk to your doctor.
Yeah. Especially if you have any pre-existing conditions.
Right. Exactly.
So what we're really discussing here is intermittent fasting,
Yeah.
which is more about.
Yeah, it's more of a structured way of
Yeah.
alternating between eating and fasting.
Right. Exactly.
Practically.
There's a plan.
And it's not just about the physical benefits either.
No, not at all.
Right. The article also mentioned that fasting can have a profound impact on...
Mental and emotional state as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it can really help with self-control,
Okay.
patience,
Mm-hmm.
resilience.
So when you get those hunger pangs
Yeah.
and you push through them,
Yeah, you're building mental strength,
interesting.
which can help you in other areas of life too.
It's almost like it's counterintuitive because you think
Yeah.
something restrictive
Yeah.
would actually be
But it's empowering.
empowering. Yeah.
You're in control.
We're not being controlled by
Good.
your desires.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it also cultivates this sense of gratitude.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you become more mindful of your relationship with food.
Yeah.
You realize,
How much you take for granted.
we take it for granted.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like this reminder to appreciate
Mm.
abundance.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's not just about
Yeah.
what you're giving up, but also,
What you're gaining.
yeah.
Exactly.
It's a deeper understanding of yourself.
Yeah, your body, your relationship to food, to the world around you,
It's fascinating how fasting can touch on so many different aspects of our being.
It really is.
You know, the physical, the spiritual, the emotional.
It's holistic.
It really is, yeah.
It makes you really look at yourself.
Yeah, it's like a
On up a level.
multifaceted practice.
Yes.
It is. So we've talked about the historical and religious roots of fasting.
Right.
We've delved into the science
Science.
behind it, and we've even touched on how it impacts our mental and emotional well-being.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really eager to hear more about how fasting can play a role in connecting with the divine.
Oh, yeah.
We'll say that for our next segment.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
That's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
We'll dive into some stories
Awesome.
that illustrate this power.
Okay, I can't wait. Okay, so let's get into the spiritual side of fasting.
Right.
We've talked about the science, the mental benefits,
Mm-hmm.
but now I want to know, like, how does fasting connect us with something bigger than ourselves?
Yeah. Yeah.
The article mentioned some, like, pretty powerful examples from the Bible,
Right.
where it seems like fasting played a role in, like, divine intervention.
Yeah. Those are always interesting to look at.
Yeah, those stories can be really compelling.
Yeah. Powerful.
Yeah, and it gives us this glimpse into,
Mhm.
you know, how fasting has been used throughout history
Sure.
to deepen that spiritual connection
Yeah. Yeah.
and seek guidance
Mm-hmm.
from a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ready for some story time.
Okay.
Like the one that really stuck with me
Yeah.
was the story of Daniel.
Oh, yeah.
You know, fasting for 21 days,
That's a long time.
avoiding rich foods,
Mm-hmm.
meat,
Mm-hmm.
dedicating himself to prayer.
Wow.
Like that's just such a powerful image of devotion,
Right.
you know, seeking that deeper connection.
Yeah. The story of Daniel is a great example of how fasting can really help you create space for spiritual insight and guidance.
Okay.
And by abstaining from, physical nourishment,
Yeah.
he was able to kind of turn inward
Mm.
and become more receptive to that divine communication.
Like he intentionally created this void
Yeah.
to be filled by something greater.
Right.
And I mean, the results were remarkable.
Yeah.
He received visions and guidance directly from God.
That's the story. Yeah.
So it's not about
Look, right.
like manipulating the universe
right.
or trying to force a specific outcome.
Yeah, it's not like twisting God's arm
Right.
or treating prayer like a cosmic vending machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's about aligning yourself with
Yeah.
that higher purpose and opening yourself up to
Right.
receiving that guidance and direction.
So it's about shifting your focus
Mm-hmm.
from like those worldly desires
Yeah.
to those spiritual aspirations.
Exactly, creating space
Yeah.
for something greater to kind of
To come in.
come through. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we've got these ancient stories
Yeah.
that highlight the spiritual power of fasting.
Right.
But I'm wondering, like, how does this apply to people today?
Right.
Is it really possible
Yeah.
to experience those kinds of divine interventions
That's a good question.
in our modern world?
Maybe we don't all have
Yeah.
visions like Daniel,
Right.
but I think the principles behind the story
Okay.
still apply.
Okay.
Fasting can be a really powerful tool for connecting with your inner wisdom
Okay.
and intuition.
So it's not necessarily about
Yeah.
expecting like
Right.
a booming voice from the heavens,
Yeah.
but it's more about cultivating.
Yeah, that deeper sense of awareness,
Okay.
that ability to listen
Mhm.
to that still small voice.
I like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes those insights
Mm-hmm.
come in unexpected ways,
They do.
like through a chance encounter,
Yeah.
a sudden realization, a newfound clarity of purpose.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, so we all have the capacity
We do.
to tap into that deeper wisdom
Yeah.
within ourselves.
Oh, sure.
But before we get too carried away,
Okay.
I think it's important to address
Right.
some common misconceptions about fasting.
Yeah, good idea.
The article does a good job
It does.
of like debunking some myths,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's helpful to clear the air.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
For starters,
Mhm.
I think a lot of people view fasting
Yeah.
as this quick fix
Right.
for weight loss,
Yeah.
or like a guaranteed
Oh, yeah.
path to spiritual enlightenment.
Like if I just do this,
Yeah.
and boom.
Yeah, exactly, but
It's not that simple.
not that simple.
Right.
Fasting is a tool,
Okay.
not a magic bullet.
Yeah.
It can support your journey
Mm-hmm.
towards better health, spiritual growth,
Okay.
but it's not going to like instantly give you
Right.
everything you want. So it's not about deprivation
Right.
for the sake of deprivation.
Right.
Right. It's about
Yeah, it's about
creating that space
creating space.
for something more meaningful to emerge.
Yeah.
Another misconception is that
Mhm.
fasting is only about food.
Right.
But the article also mentioned like other forms of fasting,
Sure.
like abstaining from social media,
Social media.
the news,
Yeah. Oh, the news. Yeah.
or even like
Complaining.
complaining. Yeah.
That's a good one.
So it seems like the principle of fasting can be applied
It can.
to anything
Yeah.
that might be distracting us
From what matters.
from our higher purpose.
Exactly. So, the key is to
Yes.
identify the things that are consuming your energy and
Yeah.
attention,
Yeah.
taking you away from your true path,
Okay.
and then create space from those things.
So there could be food,
Food. Yeah.
technology,
Technology.
negative thought patterns.
Negative thoughts. Yeah.
It's like a
detox.
digital detox
Yes.
for the soul.
For the soul, exactly.
And just like fasting from food can like
Yeah.
reset your metabolism,
Mhm.
fasting from distractions
Yeah.
can reset your mind.
It can. It creates space
Yeah.
for clarity, creativity, that spiritual renewal.
So it's not just about what you're putting into your body,
Right.
but also what you're feeding,
Your mind, your spirit.
your mind and spirit.
Yeah.
It's a holistic approach
It is.
to creating a more balanced and fulfilling life.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that brings us to another
Right.
important point.
What's that?
Fasting doesn't guarantee
Right.
specific outcomes,
No.
you know. It's
Well,
not about
No.
trying to
Control the universe.
control the universe.
Dictate the result.
Or like
It's
it
not
doesn't-
a
cosmic
flexible-
vending machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
Put in your fast.
Yeah.
Get out your desired outcome.
Yeah, it's about aligning your will
Yeah. Aligning with the divine will
with the divine will.
and trusting in the unfolding of the journey.
That's a really powerful message.
It is.
And it like really resonates with me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easy to get caught up from letting go and to something bigger.
To something bigger.
Yes,
Okay, so we've busted some myths,
we have.
explored the spiritual side of fasting,
That's right.
and talked about how it can help us connect with
Mhm.
something greater.
To that higher power.
Now I'm curious, to get practical,
Nope.
what advice would you give to someone who's listening and
Yeah.
thinking, okay, I want
Let's
to
try this.
try this fasting thing?
Yeah, the article has some great tips.
Okay.
I can share some of those.
Great. And some insights from my own experience.
Yeah, awesome. I'm all ears.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk practical tips.
Practical tips, yeah.
Where should someone start
Right.
if they're like intrigued by fasting,
Mm-hmm.
but they've never tried it before?
Yeah, the most important thing is to start slow
Okay.
and listen to your body.
Okay.
Don't jump into like a prolonged fast
Right.
right away.
Ease into it.
Yes, start with something manageable,
Okay.
like maybe skipping a meal
Right.
or doing a shorter fast for a few hours.
Gotcha. So what about types of fasts?
Yeah,
The article mentioned a few different.
it did.
Right.
There's different methods.
Okay.
Each one's a little different.
Okay.
Like intermittent fasting,
Yeah. Intermittent fasting.
that's popular.
Yeah.
It's all about the timing.
Okay.
You cycle between periods of eating and fasting.
Okay.
So you might eat within a specific window,
Okay.
like say 8 hours,
Okay.
and then fast for the remaining 16.
So it's more about like when you eat
When you eat, exactly.
rather than like,
Not if you eat.
yeah, exactly.
It's the one.
Okay, cool. And that seems like a good like
Yeah, good for beginners.
entry point.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And then there's water fasting.
Okay, water fasting.
That one's more intense.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Only water for a certain amount of time.
So that's probably
Yeah.
something you want to do with,
Proper guidance.
yeah, supervision.
Yeah, medical supervision.
Yeah, definitely.
Safety first.
Safety first,
Always.
right?
And then the article mentioned the Daniel fast.
Oh, right, the Daniel fast.
Asked on the story of Daniel in the Bible.
Right, of course.
So this one involves abstaining from certain food groups,
Okay.
like no meat,
Okay.
sweets, processed foods.
It's more about like those whole
Yeah, whole plant-based foods.
plant-based foods.
Yes.
So for people who are looking for like
Yeah.
a more spiritually focused approach to fasting, this is a good one.
Yeah.
Combining those dietary restrictions with
Yeah.
prayer and reflection.
Okay, cool.
So there's options.
Yeah, and I think the key is, like you said,
Yeah.
explore the different types Choose what resonates
Right. What works for you.
with your goals and lifestyle.
Exactly.
Okay, what other practical tips
Okay.
would you offer?
Oh, hydration. That's huge.
Hydration, okay.
Drink plenty of water
Okay.
throughout your fast.
So important.
So important. It helps you stay hydrated
Yeah.
and flush out toxins.
Okay.
You know, it's easy to forget when you're
Yeah.
not eating.
Yeah.
But water's so crucial
Okay.
for your body during a fast.
Good reminder.
Yeah.
What about, like, the mental and emotional aspects?
Oh, yeah.
We talked about how fasting can be challenging.
It can be.
So what advice would you give for navigating, like, those hunger pangs,
Hunger pangs.
mood swings?
Mindfulness.
Okay, mindfulness.
Yes. So instead of like focusing on how uncomfortable you are or how hungry you are,
Right.
shift your attention to like the purpose
Okay.
behind the fast.
Okay.
Use that time for prayer,
Okay.
meditation, journaling,
Right.
even connecting with nature.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So it's like, instead of seeing it as deprivation,
Yeah, not
you're
deprivation.
like intentionally creating space
Getting space, yeah.
for reflection
Yeah.
and spiritual nourishment.
Yeah, you're replacing mealtime
I love that.
with soul time.
Mealtime with soul time. I love that.
It's
But
beautiful.
we've covered a lot of ground
We have
on this deep dive into fasting.
lots of ground.
Explored the history, the religious roots, the science,
We science
different types of fasts, practical tips.
the practical tips.
But the big question remains,
You're right.
does fasting actually work?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like most things in life,
Yeah.
it's not a simple yes or no.
So it depends.
It depends on what you're
Oh,
looking
but-
to achieve.
It's not a one size fits all.
It is not, no.
Okay, so if your goal is weight loss,
Yeah, weight loss.
there is scientific evidence
There is,
that it can be an effective tool.
especially with like a healthy diet and lifestyle,
Okay,
but it's not a quick fix.
Right.
It takes commitment.
okay.
Consistency.
And what about the spiritual
Yeah.
and emotional benefits?
spiritual and emotional? Well,
Yeah.
there's no like scientific formula
Yeah.
for measuring that.
Okay.
But, you know, countless people
Yeah.
throughout history have
Yeah.
talked about the power of fasting
Okay.
in deepening their faith,
Mhm.
cultivating self-awareness,
Right.
experiencing a sense of purpose.
So it sounds like the key is intention.
Intention, yes.
It's not just about like the act of fasting,
Right.
but the mindset.
The why.
Yeah, the heart attitude
Exactly.
that you bring to it.
Yes.
This has been an incredibly enlightening
It has been.
deep dive.
It has.
And I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on fasting.
Me too.
It's not just about like dieting or
Yeah.
religious rituals, you know.
No, it's more than that.
It's this powerful practice that can impact like
Yeah.
every aspect of our being,
Our whole being.
our physical health,
Yeah.
spiritual connection,
Spiritual connection.
emotional well-being.
Yeah. It's been great talking about this.
Yeah, it has. And to our listener
Yes.
who submitted this fascinating article,
Thank you.
thank you for inspiring this deep dive.
Yeah, great topic.
I hope you found it
I hope so.
valuable and insightful.
Yes.
And for those of you tuning in,
yeah,
we encourage you to keep exploring this topic.
there's so much to learn.
Yeah, there's a wealth of information out there.
There is.
And ultimately, the best way to understand fasting
Mm-hmm.
is to experience it
Try it out.
for yourself.
Yeah, see what it's all about.
So until next time,
Yes.
keep seeking, keep exploring,
Keep diving deep.
and keep diving deep.